Hey, this is Dr. Charles Dent with our Monday morning coffee. I know that in these last couple of weeks we have experienced riots, we have experienced marches, we have experienced death, we have experienced COVID-19. This whole year has been unpredictable. And just be honest with you, it's been very unpredictable. You know, a lot of times we think that we're really in control of things and that we can predict what's going to happen from one day to the next. But I guarantee it's been that way this year. I mean, we're in the middle of the year, this is the month of June, and all the things that have taken place this year are just really astonishing. But I want to come back to our Monday morning coffee dealing with choices. What choices do we make during this week if we're going to be successful? So my piece today is, my main thing is persistent choices. I mean, being persistent. I mean, just having an attitude that you're going to be persistent. You're going to stick with it long enough to see it come to pass. So I'm gonna say this. If you grab this stick-to-itiveness and say, I'm gonna stick with it until it comes to pass, it's gonna take the first thing it's gonna take courage. It's gonna take courage to stick with it until it's come to pass. And a lot of times we don't have the courage to do so. So when we grab hold of this, we have the courage to say, I'm going to face this. I'm going to deal with it. Because it takes courage. Number one, it takes courage to deal with our fears. You know, if we're going to move forward, if we're going to move forward in life, it's going to take courage to deal with our fears. Because a lot of times we have fear in our life. There's so much in the media. There's fear, the Corona-19. I mean, there's so many things. Fear of a cop pulling you over. There's so much fear. And then we shape cultures with fear. Because now people believe that something bad is going to always happen. And that's how cultures are shaped. Cultures are shaped by what we believe. So we believe that if something bad is going to happen, there's a good chance it will, because we get what we think in our life. And so we got to have the courage to say, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to have the courage to face my fears. I got to have the courage to face my fears. I got to have the courage to face it. I got to have the courage. I'm going to face my fears. Because why? The reason why we need to do this, because we need to learn how to attack our fears so that we can overcome them. I'm attack what I'm fearful of. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be consistently, because fear is a paralysis. It paralyzes us. It keeps us from moving forward. If I can put fear in you, you're not gonna be able to do so. You're not gonna be effective in this. The second thing is having the courage to move forward. The second thing is you have to have the confidence that my confidence has to increase in my mind and to tell me I can do this. You got to have the confidence in your mind to say, hey, I can do this. Confidence increases when you make up your mind to do something. It increases when you make up your mind to do something. That's when the confidence just grows, because you say, I have made up my mind. I'm going to do this. Just make up your mind. You're going to do this. You set yourself a goal, put out your goal this week, make up your mind. I'm going to do this. If regardless of the opposition, regardless of what people tell me, I am going to do this. Because here's the third thing you got to understand. When you have the courage to move forward, when you decide you're going to make the courage, you got to have the courage to face your fears. You have to have the confidence to increase that it's going to happen for you. But then you got to have this thing I call my MPA. That's basically taking massive productive action. You got to know how to act on what you believe can come to pass in your life. And a lot of times people believe things can happen in their life, but they never act on them. So you got to say, I believe this can take place in my life, so I'm going to act on it. So I've been working with this. My wife and I have been doing some classes about things. And I said, what would I tell the younger version of myself? You know, because there's a few things that when I was 16, 17 years of age, what would I tell the younger version of myself? I mean, and there's some things that I believe that the younger version of myself would tell the older version of myself now. And I believe that's important. But then I think now the hindsight is 2020. Everybody say, I wish I would have done it. But here's the key thing about it. You can do some things now that you would have told yourself at 16, 17 years of age that you should have done. So I said these three things, and you're going to hear me say this today. 3 things I said I would have told a younger version of myself. Number 1, when I was 16 years of age, I was at a restaurant. I was a busboy in a restaurant. There were some guys, they late 30s, early 40s, sitting around the table. There was about 5 or 6 of them, and they were having dinner. And they said, man, if I'd known this when I was 16, 17, my life would have been so much better. And I said, I'm 16. I had the courage, I had the confidence to ask them. I said, guys, I'm 16. Why don't you teach me? Well, they didn't volunteer to teach me. But I wish I would have told my younger self, my younger version of myself at that time, stick with that idea of getting a life coach. Because that's what I wanted. I wanted somebody to coach me so that I can make some good, sound decisions in my life. The thing is, I knew I needed a life coach. It wasn't a popular thing when I was growing up. You know, not everybody's life coaches everything. Everything. It's like a fad. You know, we can change with the times. I mean, regardless. But I said I would have found me a life coach. I don't care if it would have cost me. I would have found me a life coach. The second thing I would have told the younger version myself is have a clear career path in which you're going to take. Just a clear career path. When I decided to join the military, I'm telling you, I would have told my younger version self, by having this clear career path, ask yourself, you're going to do 20 years, you're not going to do 20 years. If you're not going to do 20 years, what are you going to do in the time you're here? Get a degree, go to school, go to college, whatever. I would have told the younger version of myself that. And then the third thing I would have told the younger version of myself is invest your money. I mean, start off investing. Because I did, you know, I was getting with some people. I was trying to get them to put $25 away a month to investment. You know, that's what I would have told my younger version of myself. Stick with it. Just have a stick-to-itiveness of what was planted in you. And that's what it is. You got to have the stick-to-itiveness to say, I am going to do this. I got the courage. I got the confidence. Now I'm going to take massive productive action. I got to do that. If I'm going to be successful with this, I got to take massive productive action. Then my second overall piece is to stay with it. Just stay with it. I mean, if it takes you down, you say, hey, learn when you're down. Because here's the thing, when you're down, you can stay down, but you don't stay down. You stay down to learn what you need to learn. Because when you're down, pay more attention to what's going on in your mind so you can get up again. And that's what happens. A lot of times we're down, we stay down. We don't pay attention to what's going on in our mind so that we can get up again. See, the greater lessons are learned when we're down, when we fail. That's when the greater lessons are learned. Not when we're so much successful and we just breeding success, but when we fail. Now, I guarantee you look at scripture, you look at books, you listen to people, you'll see more lessons are taught when you're in the failure state. When you failing, when you're messing up, you learn more. The second thing is learn from your failures, and the failures of others can be your strength. It gives you a resolve that, hey, I can make this, I can do this. Because failure would expose you to a level of wisdom that you didn't have before. Because failure can be your library of knowledge. It can be this bookshelf that you can learn from. You can learn from bad relationships. You can learn from bad deals. You can learn from bad job situation. You can make the best of those by saying, hey, this is going to become my library of learning. And learn your level of courage. Listen, build yourself into a place of courage that even in the midst of failure, you walk away learning something. You walk away learning something from it. It doesn't matter what you look at. Look at this situation with George Floyd. What did we learn in this whole situation? Look at the situation, COVID-19. What are we going to learn in this whole situation? Are we going to be better prepared to handle racism and all the other classisms and everything that's happened in this country? Are we better prepared? And a lot of times we just go around the circle because we haven't learned from the past, and so we repeat it. And we haven't learned from the voices of other people who gave us warnings about certain things that are going to take place. So that's my Monday morning coffee today, and I'm telling you, this is Dr. Charles Dent, and I'll tell you one thing: if you just take these principles and start practicing them, your life will be different. God bless.